question related? Does anyone have any question related to representations, stereotypes that we discussed last time? Acha, one more thing. I have been struggling with grading all the exams. I am teaching 2 sections of MCON 310, which is a course related to MassCom theories. And in each section, I have almost 40 students, which is a really great number. I have been assessing their exams for past 1 week now, and I think I will be assessing some of them again this week. For this reason, I apologize. I'll not get time to assess your first exam, but I will do it soon after your midterm exam, inshallah. But that is not, that assessment is not connected to your midterm exam. It's not like that you need that assessment to know that how I will be assessing your recorded presentation. I have already graded your class presentations, and I have my marks in, I have your marks in my list. Your midterm recorded presentation now is going to be of 25 marks, for which you will get the question on Friday. We will not study or discuss any new concept for our class on Wednesday. Instead, I will help you prepare for your midterm recorded presentation. When I give you the recorded presentation, it will have a complete rubric, which means you will know that how I will assess your work. We will talk about that at length in our class on Wednesday. For our class on Wednesday, I will help you prepare for your midterm recorded presentation. And its deadline for submission for you will be next Tuesday. This was an important thing that I wanted to discuss with you. And now today we will discuss popular culture in the context of postmodernism. This is our today's lecture. If you have any question related to representations, you can ask me now. Just to let you know, representation is a vast field. It's a very vast field. Not only Stuart Hall. Stuart Hall, I have been discussing Stuart Hall mostly because he was the founder of cultural studies, and he's a key figure when we talk about media, culture, and society. However, there are many other scholars who have studied the concept of representation. The whole idea, the whole concept of representation is very lengthy. It's very detailed. For this class, we have only developed our basic understanding related to the idea of representation. And my purpose was to let you realize that how important it is to study representations in mass media. With that, if you have any question, you can ask me now. Otherwise, we will begin our next lecture. Do you think if I ask you a question related to representation, you can discuss it? For example, I may ask you 3 things. Either find the examples related to misrepresentation, or underrepresentation, or stereotypes. Now, it's not like for exam, you just bring me the example. Well, ma'am, you see, the portrayal of Christianity presents a very good example of underrepresentation. I will say, yeah, I agree. So what? You are supposed to bring tangible evidence. You are supposed to bring cogent arguments that here is this incident, this is how it was represented by Pakistani media, this is how it was represented by Dunya News, this is how it was represented by Geo TV, and I think this sort of representation presents a good example of underrepresentation. Similarly, Pakistani media has also been accused of having underrepresentation of transgender people. Have you ever heard the term LGBTQT? I'll write it in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that, Aksa? Sorry, Nimra?
Ma'am, that's about gay rights.
All right. Yeah, but what does LGBTQT mean? I just wrote it in the chat box. Anyone? LGBTQT? Okay, now tell me this thing. Have you ever heard LGBTQT word before?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think it's a very general term for the people like who have like lesbian, gays, and
Yes,
transgenders.
Yes, Aruj wrote lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. You see, people who do same-sex marriages, homogeneous, like those. We know that there's this concept of heterogeneous marriages, like a male marries a female. However, same-sex marriages, same-sex people, transgender. Okay, L means lesbian, gay, bisexual, hermaphrodites, transgender people. Those are bisexual. Q is queer. I just wrote it in the chat box. Queer means different. Again, hermaphrodites, transgender people, and transgender. So LGBTQT rights, the rights of those people who are who belong to this group of people. Especially, I would like to talk about transgender people. I think I talked about this in my last class, that transgender people is one of the most suffering community in Pakistan, because unfortunately the society does not leave any chance for them except for putting on heavy makeups and become beggars. So what are the issues of and no, they are even not owned by their own family members. They live in their particular community and they have many issues. This is not to say that Pakistani media absolutely does not touch the issues related to transgender people. They do. In I think 90s, there was a famous drama serial that was broadcast on PTV, Pakistan television. Its name was Janjalpura. And yes, in a way the drama was actually made to discourage to encourage family planning in people, but with that it also highlighted issues of transgender people. That drama was a very good example, but still it is Pakistani media often is accused of underrepresenting issues of transgender people. So whatever examples you come up with, what I'm saying here is that you should have tangible evidence to support your argument. It is okay to develop an argument, but please find your leverage. Show us evidence that tells us that yes, if you are saying this is happening, and you are presenting this evidence to let us know that this is happening. All right. If you do not have any question related to representation, let's begin today's lecture then. Excuse me. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. This is today's lecture, postmodernism and popular culture. Let's begin with the idea of postmodernism, because this is something that we have already discussed in one of our early lectures. Would anyone like to quickly revise what is postmodernism? J. Postmodernism. Ji Fatima, go ahead.
Ma'am, basically, postmodernism is a like movement which developed in the mid 20th century, and it's about how we have to for example, from the arts and architecture and other criticism, we have to mark a departure from modernism, or from like the term has more generally been applied to describe historical era said to follow after modernity. So it's postmodernism.
Yeah, shabash. Very good. Fatima has an understanding of postmodernism. I'm writing it in the chat. I'm writing a word in the chat box, and you need to understand this. Whenever we say what is postmodernism, postmodernism is actually a sense of cynicism. I hope I wrote the right spelling. A sense of cynicism from modernism. Do you know what is cynicism?
Yes.
Cynicism.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Can you tell me what is cynicism, better? Usama was speaking. Ji Usama.
Ma'am, it's like being critical or being skeptical about
Shabash.
the conventional ideologies.
Very good. I am not sure how to explain this further, but if I tell you one word in Urdu which explains this word in a really good way, there is this word uktahat. Like we get bored by something. Does it make sense? It's a sense of cynicism or pessimism. So the idea of postmodernism arose from a sense of cynicism from modernism. To repeat, I have already discussed this at length when I was discussing postmodernism earlier in my early lectures. Modernism seemed promising when the era of modernism started, like industrial revolutions, inventions, discoveries, that all seemed very promising. And it seemed promising in the sense of erasing inequalities, in the sense of erasing ignorance, in the sense of erasing all world's evils and problems. So modernism seemed promising, a very positive thing. However, this did not unfold in that expected way. It brought us 2 world wars. It brought us weapons of mass destruction. Modernism, yes, it brought us all the inventions, light, air conditioning, phones, speedy communication, speedy transportation. Yes, it did bring us all of these miracles, but with that, it also brought many problems, like weapons of mass destruction. And then the world witnessed 2 world wars and all that. So, and then also we saw the concentration of power. Rich keep getting rich, powerful keep getting powerful. So we witnessed all these things. So postmodernism was a cynicism from a sense of cynicism from the idea of modernism. Does it all make sense? Please speak. Does it all make sense?
Yes.
All right. So this is postmodernism, and we will discuss it again in subsequent slides. Now let's talk about. I'm so sorry for the wrong spellings. For some reason, it gives you a spelling. There is this spelling correction feature in your PowerPoint or in your slide. For some reason, it's not working in my computer for past 2 days. I'll fix these spellings for sure before I upload this slide on Moodle. Okay, what is popular culture? Let's discuss now. Let's forget about postmodernism. Let's only discuss what is the meaning of popular culture. What is popular culture? Gigi Hassan, please explain. Fatima, you will go.
As I remember from one of your notes, earlier notes, it was popular culture was a set of beliefs or practices that were dominant and recognized by members of a particular society.
Shabash, very good, very good. Ji Fatima?
Ma'am, I was going to say the same thing, but I would now add an example to it. For example, entertainment industry, the films or any other, even books or any kind of other entertainment that is popular among the society, that is popular culture.
Okay. Now very good. Now let me explain. And please pay attention to this. Please listen to this very carefully. It is very important for you to develop an understanding of popular culture. Once you are clear about these terms, postmodernism and popular culture, only then the rest of the lecture will make sense for you. Okay, what is culture, by the way? The culture is the set of codes for people in a particular area. For example, our culture is our attire, shalwar kameez. Our Pakistan is very multicultural. It is our attire, it is our food, roti salan, chawal. It is our culture involves a set of rules for living for people in a particular area. But what is popular culture? Similarly, calligraphy is also culture. That is Pakistan's culture. Do you know calligraphy? Um, I believe you all know what is calligraphy. Urdu calligraphy. They write it with, when we were little, we used to write takhti and kalam. And in Pakistani culture, they emphasize calligraphy. That is Pakistani culture. But let's talk about pop culture. What is pop culture? It is shortly, it is known as pop culture. It's actually popular culture. Popular culture are the things, just like Hassan just explained, things that are popular in ordinary people, in that are according to the taste of ordinary people. Let me explain it a bit further. Now, popular culture movement was founded with the idea that wait a minute, just give me a minute. So popular culture movement was founded with the idea that it is very important to understand the perspectives and experiences of common people. These are experiences and perspectives of common ordinary people that help us understand the society. So yes, a piece of art that becomes a part of a museum, that may not help us understand the perspectives of people living in a particular society. Similarly, not all books that are published in a society and the books that win prizes, not all of that material can help us understand the perspectives and experiences of people living in a society. So books, pieces of art like Sadiqian was a very famous artist from our country, from our culture. His murals, his paintings are part of museum in Pakistan. They are part of art galleries. Okay? That is culture, but that does not represent the experiences and perspectives of ordinary people. So the popular culture movement was founded on the idea that in order to understand the insights of a social world, the insights of a society, it is very important to understand the perspectives and experiences of common people, ordinary people. Now, considering the perspectives and experiences of ordinary people, what is popular culture of Pakistan? Let me give some examples. Bathak culture. There used to be a Bathak culture. It still exists in some suburbs, rural areas of Pakistan, where people would gather, maybe under a tree or maybe in a bathak, and they would discuss issues that are important in that community. And even I have learned this from my father and from my grandfather, that in that community, people would also read poetry, share the poetry of Sufi poets in the country. That is popular culture. Similarly, drama industry in Pakistan is very popular. Now, Fatima is absolutely right when she's saying that things that are related to entertainment, film, music, and all that, that is popular culture. I think whenever we talk about pop culture of Pakistan, drama is a predominant thing. Drama dominates the Pakistani media culture's landscape. Um, that is Pakistan's culture. Similarly, local songs that our women usually sing when somebody is getting married on the drum beat. Like we have this dholak culture, and they sing Punjabi songs that are also called tappe. That is popular culture. You see, now popular culture is very important to understand the perspectives and experiences of a society. I remember quite vividly when I was little and my mamu were getting married. All of like at every wedding ceremony of my mamu, my nani and her sister, they would sing Punjabi tappe. Those were the songs that they used to sing back in India. My family, by the way, migrated from India. My both my paternal and maternal grandfathers, they came from Patiala state of India when Pakistan was made. And my nani and dadi, they used to sing those tappe on wedding ceremonies. So that is popular culture. Now, is it clear to everyone what is popular culture? And our popular
Yes.
culture is different from Western popular culture. Of course, that is different for every culture. In West, that is video gaming. Would you believe I had 7 PhD students in my doctoral class? They usually keep the number very little for doctoral students, maximum 10 students. Maximum 10 students each year. And the reason is also because the the advisors who work with PhD students for their doctoral dissertation, they cannot work on more than 4 or 3 students. It affects quality otherwise. Humanly, it's not possible for a PhD supervisor to work on more than 4 PhD projects. So I was saying that in my class of 7 doctoral students, 3 of them wrote their doctoral dissertations on gaming in United States. Gaming is such a big popular culture in the US. Now I'll stop here to take your questions about popular culture if you have any. Is the idea of popular culture clear to everyone? Popular culture, Ji Usama.
Ma'am, can we also include the specific food items in the popular culture
Of course,
that are famous in our country?
Yes, food street. Yes, that is Pakistan's popular culture. Good job. A very good example. A very perfect example. See, popular culture, again, the movement, are you understanding? The movement was founded, I keep repeating this, the movement was founded on the idea that to understand a social world, it is important to know the perspectives and experiences of common people. Ji Fatima, you raise your hand.
Ma'am, I was going to add another example. For example, architecture could also be considered as a popular culture. For example, we see in Iran's Safavid architecture or Ottoman architecture, or
Yes.
even Mughal architecture.
Yes, arches and balconies, especially arches.
Yes,
That are
even their tiles and the flowers, and like in Turkey, they usually use tulips as in their tiles.
Yeah,
So
that is
that's
popular culture. Very good. And there is also this strong debate happening that popular culture, especially our popular culture, is being eroded by Western culture. That's a different debate. We are not going into that, but I was just giving you an idea. But a perfect example, Fatima. Very good job. Acha, are you all clear about the idea of postmodernism in popular culture? Can I go to next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Now, postmodernism identification. This is again very important to understand. I request you all to please pay attention. If you are listening to me attentively, then you will be able to participate, then you will be able to make sense, and consequently, you will be able to perform very well in your exam. Postmodernism identification. Okay, before you read the content on given on slides, I suggest that please listen to me very carefully. And once it's all clear to you, then I'll let you read the content which is written here. Postmodernism apparently seems an abstract idea. What is the meaning of abstract? It means a theoretical idea, a concept that exists only in theories, but not practically. So that is true. Yes, most of the narratives that are written on postmodernism, they are based on abstract theories. However, it is very difficult to identify postmodernism happening, but we can identify it. And in this lecture, we will find examples. How can we identify mass media in the postmodernist concept? Okay, identify means determine. How can we see it? How can we see it happening? Postmodernism identification. Now let's read what is given here. Apparently, postmodernism seems to be an abstract idea existing only in theories. By abstract, we mean something that only exists conceptually, that only exists in concepts, that only exists in ideas. However, we cannot trace it in practical examples. Now, how can we empirically identify postmodernism in mass media and culture? Because all the theories of postmodernism what we have studied, they sound abstract. They are just theories. Now, how do we see them empirically? What is the meaning of empirical? What is the meaning of empirical?
Ma'am, for example, a physical example of something or proof or something.
Shabash. Acha, empirical, you all are either writing thesis or will write thesis in future. Let me tell you very clearly, empirical is something that is based on observation, that is based on experiment. You see a TV drama and you see stereotypes happening there, that is empirical, because you have observed stereotypes. You do your experiment, you do survey or you do content analysis, you are doing experimentation, that is empirical. All quantitative research studies, all qualitative research studies are empirical. Okay? Now, how can we empirically identify postmodernism in mass media and culture? This is a question that we will address here. In other words, how can postmodernism be identified in contemporary culture, in contemporary media culture? So how do we study postmodernism in culture, in media, and in society? This is what we will learn in this lecture. All right, let's move to my next slide now. Postmodernism and reality, constructed or distorted. Now, when I began my discussion on postmodernism, I explained what is postmodernism. Always remember, we can explain and we can understand postmodernism better in comparison to modernism, because postmodernism actually emerged out of modernism. It arose out of modernism. Like I said, that postmodernism was a sense of cynicism that arose when apparently or supposedly modernism failed to provide us equity, to provide us prosperity and everything. Now, in postmodernist context, in modernist context, media, again, please do not pay attention to the content that you see written here. Pay attention to what I'm saying, and then we'll read what is written here to make sense of it. In modernism, media was was supposed to hold up a mirror to society. Remember, especially you read mass comm theories on, you learned mass comm theories in 409, and there you may have learned that there were normative theories, and there was, you may have learned the concept of watchdog of media. Media performs the watchdog function. You may have learned that media is the fourth pillar of society, fourth state of society. Why do we say media is watchdog? Because media plays regulating function for other three pillars of society, which are legislation, judiciary, and executive, the government. And media is the fourth pillar, because media is making sure that all these three pillars are performing their job in the right way, which means media has the role of performing the mirror of society, the mirror role. It tells you that, see, this is happening. It tells you the reality. So in modernism, all the theories that you study, they came out in 70s, 80s, and however, the postmodernism content, it started appearing in books in 90s especially. Now, media, which was once thought to be the mirror of the society, now we see things the opposite way. Media no more acts like the mirror of the society. It actually develops a mirror for society, for people to believe. See, this is reality, let's believe it. So media is distorting reality. And there are many examples in society we can find. What about advertisements? They present you the message as though the product they are showing you is the best product on earth. And we all know that advertisements actually are an amalgamation of propaganda and reality. They exaggerate things. They are constructing reality for you. They are not mirroring reality for you. They are constructing or distorting it for you. So you see, postmodernism is cynicism for modernism. And similarly, in postmodernist context, when we analyze media, we analyze the role of media that it plays for us. Now let's read the content that is written here. Mass media were once thought to hold a mirror up to wider social reality and thereby reflected the reality in a fairly accurate manner. However, in the postmodernist context, we see media to distort the reality rather than reflecting it. You see, postmodernists here are looking at this situation with a skeptical viewpoint. Usama Nadeem. Usama, are you here? Usama, when I asked you to explain postmodernism, he came up with a very beautiful word. I think that explains postmodernism really, really well. He said, ma'am, postmodernism actually is about being skeptical. Skeptical means you become doubtful of things. Now here, you see, in postmodernist context, we are becoming doubtful. We are raising concerns. We are being skeptical. We are saying that, well, media, it was supposed to perform a mirror role for us. Is it really performing a mirror role? Is it really depicting the reality? It seems to construct reality. It seems to, rather than reflecting reality, it seems to construct and distort reality for us. This is how we look at media context, at media content from a post-modernist perspective. I think I will stop here. I have other slides as well, but I will stop here. I have 6 minutes remaining for this session. I will stop here to take your questions. I did my best to explain this to you in the most interesting and easiest possible way. Okay. Does it all make sense? Gigi, go ahead.
Ma'am, can I have a question?
Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Ma'am, this example that you gave about the advertisement that they distort the reality, is this the example of the postmodernism in the media?
Yes. This is how we can empirically study postmodernism. Empirically mean by observation, by experiment. In advertisement, they say that this particular soap kills 99.9% bacteria. And we know that there is exaggeration to it. They are talking themselves up, which means their aim is to persuade. So I gave example from advertisement, but you can certainly find other examples from other content, from drama, from film. All popular culture actually is full of examples. It is rife with examples of distorting reality. We have been talking about Hollywood movies a lot. We also talked about the movie Aladdin. And in that movie, again, aren't they constructing reality? Constructing means they are showing to their audience, this is what Arab world looks like. And if you remember that cartoon movie, you see the king, or playing like king does nothing. Everything is done by his Wazir Jafar. So aren't they constructing reality that king in Eastern country, the kings in Eastern countries they do nothing. They are like the things are done by other people in the palace that may include the Wazir or Grand Wazir or anyone, and they are also conspiring against the kingdom. That kind of reality. Aren't they constructing realities? And similarly, there are many movies made by Hollywood that construct reality for Muslims, that construct reality for Middle Eastern countries, that construct realities even for country like Pakistan. On Netflix, there is this famous movie or documentary, He Named Me Malala, which is the portrayal of Malala Yousafzai. So aren't they constructing reality? Even they are constructing reality in the presentation of news as well. Yes, Nimra, you have a question?
Ma'am, can we say that the idea of representation that we studied earlier actually originated in postmodernist era?
Say it again, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, can we say that the idea of representation that we studied earlier actually originated in the era of postmodernism?
Not exactly. Not exactly. Well, it has sped up with the idea of postmodernism. However, the issues of representation, I think they began way before the time period of postmodernism. I keep referring to this book a lot. I apologize. But since that is my field, I think I find it easier to find examples from that. Orientalism, that is a scholarship which is based on issues of representation and issues of power, and that book was written in 1978. And of course, representation began way before that. It was happening in the forms of paintings, it was happening in the forms of artwork, even before Hollywood. So the postmodernism idea, of course, has given it a new sense, a new thought. Even Edward Said himself wrote about representation and postmodernism in his book Orientalism. I have forgotten the page. I can, if you want. Ji Fatima, bete, I have less than a minute. Can you ask your question really quick? If the call drops, write me email, please. Ji Fatima.
I was just going to say about when you were talking about Edward Said, for example, Bernard Lewis also constructed a reality of history for us in his through books. Even though that history was all false, and he was actually talking about assassins that were not even present in the history.
Bernard Lewis, another name is Samuel Huntington. He also wrote The Clash of Civilizations. Ji Nimra, beta, if call drops, please write me email. Ji Nimra.
मैम, आपने पहले भी कहा कि जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन का जो प्रोसेस था या आइडिया था वो पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म से भी पहले था. तो पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म में हमने पहले ये बात की है कि पीपल स्टार्टेड टू क्वेश्चन मीडियाज रोल एज वॉचडॉग, और मॉडर्निज्म में हमने ये बात की कि मीडिया वाज सपोज्ड टू प्ले इट्स रोल एज अ मिरर टू द सोसाइटी. तो मैम मतलब मुझे यहाँ कंफ्यूजन हो रही है कि अगर रिप्रेजेंटेशन का पहले से ही पता था कि मिस रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी होती है मीडिया